A rally shaken, the drone's ominous presence, the air crackled with anticipation. Thousands had gathered to hear Donald Trump speak. The former president was in his element, feeding off the energy of the crowd. As Trump launched into his rhetoric, a dark speck marred the clear blue sky. A drone, small and almost inconspicuous, hovered above the rally. Its movements suggested a purpose far more insidious than mere observation. A sense of unease rippled through the crowd. Explosives and intent unraveling the arsenal. The drone, successfully neutralized and brought down, became more than just a suspicious device. It was a harbinger of something far more sinister. Law enforcement, in a swift and calculated operation, apprehended a man in a nearby vehicle. The suspect, later identified as, name redacted, was found to possess an arsenal that sent chills down the spines of investigators.
This was not simply a case of an overzealous supporter or a harmless prank. The individual was armed with a high-powered rifle, several handguns, and most disturbingly, a significant quantity of explosives.
The explosives, Ray elaborated, were not crude makeshift devices but sophisticated enough to inflict mass casualties. The meticulous assembly, the sheer volume, and the potential lethality pointed towards a chilling conclusion. This was a planned, calculated attempt to inflict maximum damage and chaos. The target, it was becoming increasingly clear, was none other than Donald Trump himself. Security breach, congressional inquiry and scrutiny. The attempted attack on former President Trump sent shockwaves through the nation, raising troubling questions about security protocols and the potential for violence in an increasingly polarized political climate. A congressional inquiry, led by Representative Jim Jordan, was swiftly launched to investigate the security lapse and determine how such a threat could penetrate the layers of protection surrounding a former president.
How did this individual manage to get so close with such a deadly arsenal? The American people deserve answers. This was a catastrophic failure of security, and we need to ensure it never happens again.
The hearing, broadcast live across the nation, exposed a series of security failures, miscommunications, and lapses in judgment that allowed the suspect to come dangerously close to his target. The Secret Service, once considered the gold standard in executive protection, found itself under intense scrutiny, its reputation tarnished by the near miss. Resignation and repercussions, the fallout begins. The fallout from the attempted attack was immediate and far-reaching. The former Secret Service director, facing mounting pressure and criticism over the agency's failure to prevent the security breach, submitted his resignation. The resignation, while a dramatic acknowledgement of the gravity of the situation, did little to quell the storm of questions and concerns swirling around the incident. FBI Director Wray, while praised for his agency's swift response in apprehending the suspect, also faced criticism for not being more proactive in identifying and neutralizing the threat beforehand. Critics argued that warning signs had been missed, that intelligence had not been properly shared, and that the FBI had failed in its duty to connect the dots and prevent a potential tragedy. The attempted attack on former President Trump exposed a deeply unsettling reality. Even in a nation with vast resources dedicated to security and intelligence, no one, not even a former president, is immune from the threat of violence. The incident served as a stark reminder of the volatile political climate, where extremism and hatred could manifest in terrifying and unpredictable ways. Unanswered questions, the investigation and political fallout. As the investigation into the attempted attack unfolded, a complex web of motives, ideologies, and potential conspiracies began to emerge. The suspect, name redacted, remained tight-lipped, offering investigators little in the way of explanation or remorse. His online activity, however, painted a disturbing picture of a deeply troubled individual consumed by extremist ideologies and fueled by hatred. The political fallout from the incident was swift and divisive. Trump, never one to shy away from the spotlight, seized upon the attack, using it to further his narrative of being a victim of a witch hunt and a deep state conspiracy. His supporters, echoing his claims, pointed fingers at political opponents, accusing them of inciting violence and attempting to silence their leader. The investigation, meanwhile, continued to unearth troubling details. Investigators were probing potential links between the suspect and extremist groups, examining his online activity for evidence of radicalization and communication with co-conspirators. The attempt on Trump's life had exposed the dark underbelly of American society, a breeding ground for extremism and violence that threatened to unravel the very fabric of democracy.